AI scientists make exciting discoveries using chatbots to solve math problems. Breakthrough suggests technology behind ChatGPT and Bard can generate information that goes beyond human knowledge. Artificial intelligence researchers have claimed to have the world's first scientific discovery using a large language model. A breakthrough that suggests the technology behind ChatGPT and similar programs can generate information that goes beyond human knowledge. The finding emerged from Google DeepMind, where scientists are investigating whether or not large language models, which underpin modern chatbots, such as OpenAI's ChatGPT and Google Bard, can do more than repackage information learned in training and come up with new insights. When we started the project, there was no indication it would produce something that's genuinely new, said Pushmeet Kohli, the head of AI for science at DeepMind. As far as we know, this is the first time that a genuine new scientific discovery has been made by a large language model. Large language models, or LLMs, are powerful neural networks that learn the patterns of language, including computer code from vast amounts of text and other data. It's the whirlwind ride of ChatGPT last year. Technology has debugged faulty software, and churned out everything from college essays and travel itineraries to poems about climate change in the style of Shakespeare. Welcome in, Culprit. How are you doing? It looks like ChatGPT, or at least large language models, have actually started to make some scientific discoveries, which is incredibly interesting. How are you doing today, man? Welcome in, welcome in. But while the chatbots have proved extremely popular, they do not generate new knowledge and are prone to confabulation, leading to answers that in keeping with the best pub bores are fluent and plausible but badly flawed. I don't like that statement that ChatGPT can't come with anything new. Come up with a brand new sentence. The shimmering waves whispered, let's grab this and we'll Google it. By the moonlight. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we gotta quote it. Results without quotes. Yeah, no results found for the shimmering waves whispered. Secrets to the lit. That's not a real sentence, so we have GPT coming up with something brand new. So I don't know why I'm looking at this wrong way. No, I understand that scientific discovery for factual information, it's very difficult for it to come up with something new. But if you're running multi-layers on the AI, Culprit, sorry, I know it's a quick sentence you said to me, so I might be interpreting it really quickly. But there's a single large language model. Basically, there's a single core large language model that puts out random high probable sentences, right? That's what it'll do, is high probability sentences. And then you can have other AI or other tools to function to test the new sentences to figure out whether or not something is true. So you do so it's a better way to brute force your way through scientific discovery than anything else. I know what they're kind of saying here, but I don't like it because it's not a true sentence. It's a way for smart people to make themselves seem smarter than an LLM, which, yeah. Unless you have a different perspective on it, I'm curious. I'll finish reading this here. Culprit said this is philosophical, which means that if the form doesn't exist, then it won't be able to make it new. Define a new shape. Well, actually, no, new mathematical. But I could just do define a shape that probably no one has seen. Actually, why am I even doing this? What am I even doing here? Do this. GPT. Make me an image. No, I nobody has seen. I'm not even gonna go through this, and it's pretty obvious. I know the statement that this is a combination of everything else. Anything new from it artistically or even mathematically that you need it, but we knew this. This is what I mean. The title of this article is literally saying it's been done at the level that and that's what they're saying. it's been done at the level that we would consider it some form of intelligence, right? Or at least, sorry, some form of intelligent creation, not intelligence itself, but an intelligent creation. So it's the fact that people say it is, it means that they're just completely wrong. If there's one instance, this is one of those things, if there's one instance of someone's total statement being incorrect, the statement is incorrect. So I'm being very pedantic on that, but it is. Oh, we'll keep reading through this. To build fun search, short for searching in the function space, DeepMind harnessed an LLM to write solutions to problems in the form of computer programs. The LLM is paired with an evaluator. That's exactly what I was talking about. That automatically ranks the programs by how well they perform. The best programs are then combined and fed back into the LLM to improve on. This drives the system to steadily evolve poor programs into more powerful ones that can discover new knowledge. The researchers set Fun Search loose on 2 puzzles. The first was a long-standing and somewhat arcane challenge, pure mathematics, known as the cap set problem. It deals with finding the largest set of points in space where no 3 points can form a straight line. Fun Search churned out programs that generate new large cap sets that go beyond the best that mathematics have come up with. The second puzzle was the bin packing problem, which looks for the best way to pack items of different sizes into containers. While it applies to physical objects, such as the most efficient way to arrange boxes into a shipping container, the same maths applies in other areas, such as scheduling computing jobs in data centers. The problem is typically solved by either packing items into the first bin that has room, or into the bin with the least available space, where the items still fit. Fun Search found a better approach that avoided leaving small gaps that were unlikely ever to be filled, according to the results in Nature. In the last 2 or 3 years, there have been exciting examples of human mathematicians collaborating with AI to obtain advances on unsolved problems, said Sir Tim Gowers, professor of mathematics at Cambridge University, who is not involved with the research. This work potentially gives us another interesting tool for such collaborations, enabling mathematics to search efficiently for clever and unexpected constructions. Better still, these constructions are humanly interpretable. Researchers are now exploring the range of scientific problems Fun Search can handle. A major limiting factor is that the problems need to have solutions that can be verified automatically, which rules out many questions in biology where hypotheses often need to be tested with lab experiments. Culprit says, "Oh, hey, Endo, how's it going too? When you think of an alien, you first start with the green-gray men, unless you are being contrary to be contrary. However, to find new building blocks of life forms that are based around new physics that haven't ever been seen yet, it couldn't. The green-gray men are still based on human looks, skewed long arms and legs. Yes, so you can, maybe what we just read, I know you posted that before we read this section. But so what they're doing is they're talking about stacking problems, right? Problems of mathematics. Yes, the thing is with math too, you construct the solutions of the problem with previous gray arms and legs and big eyes, which look like humans. But what everybody is doing whenever we build something new is a new way of reframing and reshaping those ideas. That is what people are talking about when they say GPT can't come up with anything new. You're right. It's not going to come up with anything that it doesn't know, right? Like it just can't come up with stuff that doesn't already exist because it has to build things. It's very human in that way. It has to build things that are human, that are created from it. What they're able to do is they're able to roll the dice. So imagine, Culprit, when they're constructing it, imagine you're playing a D&D campaign where the end result is a black hole that sucks in the entire universe, right? The question is, it's actually the same kind of question as like quantum computing. You have a large problem set, and then you have a solution that you want at the very end. How do you recheck the hundreds of millions of ways that you can vary those different layouts of whatever you have and to put it into a brand new way, right? I'm sure you'll agree with this. As we've said, artistically, GPT technically creates new art, again, even though it's constructed like humans do, by looking at other people's art, by looking at the universe. What's considerably new, what they're talking about, is functional things, and they have created a functional new thing, which is very cool. The more immediate impact may be for computer programmers. For the past 50 years, coding has largely improved through humans creating ever more specialized algorithms. This is actually going to be transformational in how people approach computer science and algorithm discovery. This is Coley. For the first time, we're seeing LLMs not taking over, but definitely assisting and pushing the boundaries of what is possible in algorithm. So a point of this too, and I'll just pull this paint out so you can kind of see from like a computer programming perspective what they're talking about. And I'm sure you understand, but also this is for like the general viewership. So let's say you have, I don't know, you have a whole bunch of boxes of different shapes. They're all wobbly boxes. So let's say you're a computer programmer and you have a whole bunch of data. All right. And you need to sort those boxes to a room that is this perfect shape. What you do, or what the default answer is, and this is more like the quantum computing answer, is to try every variation of box inside the box, every shift in shape and all that kind of stuff. But if you want to have a protocol, if you're dealing with millions of boxes, you have to have something that says, okay, you're going to put this box in first, this box in second, this box in third, this box in fourth. So what is the system at which you place this box in first? Where do you place that first box? Do you place it in this corner? Do you place it in this corner? Or do you place it in this corner right here? Well, with programming now, what we can do, and yes, obviously it's going to make lazier programmers, but that's always the way life is. Everybody seems to get lazier and lazier over time, but it makes better quality stuff, hopefully, is that you'll simply go to the LLM and you'll say, I need a box sorting algorithm. Here is my box. Here is my thing. And what it'll do is it'll go through all of your different variations of how you're putting boxes together and pick the best order, or pick the system that gives you the best order to put boxes away. I know this from working at some storage places and also sales and service places where the storage units are totally messed up, and the only person who knows how to properly put things away is the guy in the warehouse. And the guy in the warehouse doesn't actually articulate how to put things away to the rest of the people. All he does is he's like, this goes there, this goes there, this goes there. And management stands and goes like, well, he's the only one who can do it. And then everybody else is like, well, that's because he's the only one that knows how to do it. Like, he's not even communicating with us, right? Well, if you have a proper LLM and you're working in this kind of space, you can now ask the LLM, what is the protocol in which that we put boxes in certain rooms? And that way there's no confusion anymore between what management wants and what the execution end wants. Because there's a lot of workplaces, this applies to programming, right? Because if you are dealing with a game, or you're dealing with, let's say, the windows on your screen, and you want your windows to sort and set themselves up as such, that's where these algorithms come into place. It's like, how do you know what the best window sorting algorithm is? You need to know. If you're a programmer, why not just ask GPT what might be the best answer, the best solution for whatever program you're putting together. Anyways, Jordan Ellenberg, professor of mathematics at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and co-founder on the paper, said, what I find really exciting, even more so than specific results we found, is the prospects it suggests for a future of human-machine interaction in math. Instead of generating a solution, FunSearch generates a program that finds the solution, a solution to the specific problem that might give me no insight into how to solve other related problems, but a program that finds the solution that's something a human being can read and interpret, hopefully thereby generate ideas for the next problem and next and next. Okay. Culprit, it would be amazing if it were to find the solution where quantum mechanics can work in physics. That would be insane if it did. I think that's what it's going to go through. Like, a lot of what happens, a lot of our understanding is when you put things in the language that you speak, because it's about a relationship, right? The relationships all the way down. And right now with quantum mechanics, there are no relationships to quantum mechanics and the real world. There's just the blurry boundary in between them. The closer you get to quantum mechanics, the blurrier that result gets. So if a large language model can go through the millions and millions of different ways of describing that and try to clarify that process for us, then it would be absolutely amazing. I have seen a lot of like scientists talk and say that it's impossible to do. And actually, like the uncertainty principle is built into the universe, but there might be descriptions of the uncertainty principle that is more descriptive than what we currently have now and requires significantly more intelligence or larger brain to be able to put all of those ideas together into something that everybody can understand. So it'll be AI is it's going places. Culprit said your father-in-law was saying it had wrong info based on a picture. AI based on a picture. However, I pointed out to him, what if it sees what we don't see and is able to calculate based on our knowledge? We gave it to look. Wait a sec. Let me reread that. Your father-in-law was saying that it had wrong info based on a picture AI was looking at. However, yeah, so he's saying AI is getting the wrong information. You said, what if it sees what we don't see and is able to calculate based on our knowledge? That we gave it to look at. I got a few ways that I can understand that sentence. Basically, AI had given wrong info, but AI isn't. So here's the problem too, and I really don't like this. And this is a good way to describe it to people who don't understand like what type of tool it is. Okay, AI does not equal search. AI never equals search. Right now, whenever I give anybody ChatGPT, they're like, I can just Google this. I'm like, that's not what that is. Okay. AI is hallucination. They spell hallucination. Hallucination. HALLUCINATIO. AI is hallucination. Okay. We are hallucinating. This is like a ooey gooey hippy dippy mindset thing, but it is really true. Life is literally a constant hallucination. You don't see what's actually out there. You touch things and your brain like reinterprets it and puts it in this frame. To be able to have, at least as far as we know, to be able to have any form of intelligence, you have to hallucinate, because hallucination is what creates patterns. If you go to like, you can see in a lot of images about hallucination, it's all these repeated patterns, and your ability to recognize the repetition of the pattern is part of what makes you intelligent. You can take a look at all of the high end sensory information, all of that layers and layers and layers of things coming in, and you're able to go, there is something that repeats over and over and over again. And it might not make sense, but there's a level of repetition that happens where you start to see patterns in nature and, well, things like physics. You know that if you have something and you drop it, that is kind of the same pattern as the visual hallucination style patterns that you see imagery about hallucination. Okay. So whenever anybody talks about AI and they're like, well, it gives me the wrong information. Yeah, so what? Like you can tell anybody, your father-in-law, that it doesn't matter, because it's literally, we have taken a box. Okay, we can do like an is it an XKCD style comic? We've taken a box. So there's a person, this is their thought, and then here's a box, and here's its thinking. Okay. And then if I had more stuff, I would put in a little something in here going, you know, I don't know, like what is what is the weather today in Paris, right? Well, then the box's response would be, I don't freaking know, right? Like, that's an LLM. That's the large language model applying itself to the real world. And it literally doesn't know. LLM. So, yeah, it's a weird, I think it's going to be like a cultural thing where we have to like relearn how perspectives work around computers, because right now computers are just information machines, whereas an AI system now is something that doesn't have any attachment to reality. I'll point that out too. Your computer has a level of attachment to reality. Culprit said it's supposed to compile the information it has in order to respond with the answer. I'm gonna contest you and say that is completely wrong. It is not supposed to do anything. That is one of the results that we push it towards, that we train it towards. The purpose of it. So what you're doing when you say it's supposed to, and I understand that perspective. I completely understand like what and you're right in a way. I'm not even saying you're wrong in like what the final product is supposed to be. I'm going to use a lot more paint stuff, but really that's like taking basic math. I'm not wordplaying. I'm not wordplaying at all. I'm literally not wordplaying, and I'm being very specific about this, because there's a difference. There's a difference between there's a difference between the result of something, the result of an action, versus the action itself having a result, right? There's a huge difference in between the two. So you can ask yourself right now, okay, let's say you build a system and you want it to predict I am. Okay. Now, this system is supposed to predict the next word. And if I'm a computer scientist and I'm starting to develop something from the ground up, I create a program that starts to predict I am a cat. I am a car. I am a fish. Okay. I want this matters. Okay. If you don't trust me, if you by the end of this is what you will 1 second. Or maybe I read that wrong. Maybe I totally read that wrong, culprit. Unless I'm reading your text wrong. It is supposed to compile information it has in order to respond. No, I'm right. I'm not wordplaying, or maybe you're saying the AI's wordplaying. I don't know. Either way, I want to be clear about this. I could be misrepresenting you because I understand that you're in chat too. Is really hard to talk, but I really want to make this clear. Okay, so you have a system that I am a cat, I am a car, I am a fish. Okay. Now somebody realizes really quickly, like, hey, wait a minute. If I have this, and I have a robot, and the robot's job is to respond with what it is, I can then use the exact same math. To respond based on what my character is. So we have input, I am, and it comes out with a cat, a fish, a whatever. Now, what we learned, you can do this. Someone had the big bright idea of what if we applied this 1 billion times over. And remember, the purpose isn't to have, there's no purpose right now. There's literally no purpose at the moment. Its job is not to say what it is. We've never told the algorithm to say, hey, tell me what you are. No, we've said what you do is you predict the next word and then you give me an outcome, right? I got culprit. I want to be clear. I don't know. I'm looking at the chat thing. I'm trying to like really get, so if I'm misrepresenting you in any way, for the viewers too, and on YouTube, if anybody watches this, I might be misrepresenting him, so I'm not, whatever. But this is what, like, all it was a prediction machine. They realized the prediction machine has the equivalent properties of a robot that wants to respond what it is. And they also realized too, you can now apply that over and over and over again. And then once you get to the application, they realize that the sentence is, I am a cat that speaks. They realized over time that if they gave it enough of a prompt and enough processing power with the relations on all sorts of stuff, that it comes out with something that sounds reasonable, like a sentence. Remember, the purpose of the design was not to give you results. They didn't start the engine. They didn't start the AI system as something that's job was to go out and process information. The longer this prompt goes on, so now if I give it, I am a cat that speaks, it will continue the exact same process to continue whatever sentence I give it. Now the result is, once you put that system out and you put somebody in front of a computer screen, here's my person. Okay, and that person has been trained. And I did it too. Trust me, culprit. I did it too. Where you get onto the search engine and you're like, well, I want it to search for something. Culprit says, I'm word playing because AI providing information is what it does. It pulls information that was built on and responds with compiled information that was fed to it. My primary function is... So, yes, at the end result, but I want to be very clear the difference between that being the objective. It's... Okay, it's almost like saying the purpose, and I don't think I'm doing wordplay. I think society has done wordplay and we're accepting it. And I've heard, it's not just my opinion, it's other computer scientists that have put this opinion out too. So I'd have to go hunt those down and find it. Just because something has the property of doesn't mean that it has the construction to do the thing. I want to point this out with lead, okay? Lead is a sweetener, all right? What happened in the olden days is we actually put lead in everything, and kids would eat lead-based paint because it was sweet, right? Now, if we want a sweetener, we don't have lead as the sweetener. Right now, the AI systems are informational lead. That's what they are. Nobody should ever be eating AI paint. Okay? Like, that's something that I feel is super important. We should not be taking a sweetener that has the ability to make things look and act like something that is intelligent, right? And then apply intelligence to it. That's really, really important. And the type of intelligence that we want is that it understands my sentence. And it does. Again, lead paint is sweet. You can put lead inside food and it makes the food taste really damn good. And I understand that it's supposed to, at the very end of the result, that's where it creates full sentences with information that you're supposed to get. But like, it is very much the image that I put in where it's like, you know, the dude in the box, and he's like, what's the weather? And the box is like, I have no idea. Why? Because the box's response is simply just like the most probable outcome to whatever it's been asked. It has no idea that it should go out and set things out. Now what happens is if you have your prompt and you give it enough of a prompt that says go online. Okay, go online. And this is how they build it. They realized that while it gave you its response, this big whatever, blah, 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 it would also, inside this response, it would kick out the command to go online and research the data. Okay. This was a discovery. This was not a we need an item that goes online first and then finds out what's going on. The discovery was that when they gave it a prompt that said go online, and they gave it enough data that it would spit out these sections. Now, then what you can do is you can give it more prompts. Go online, use this symbol for command or com. Okay. Now, what the AI does is the difference. It goes, it's guessing the probability of things rather than just showing you the link. Now, this placeholder asterisk goes to the website. They have a third-party or a extra system that hunts it down and then injects the website, the full website, into that prompt. It just injects it in. And then they guess the response when it comes out the other end. Now, this is not a very good way of researching and building data. So that's when they build other AI on top of that. AI that check the link first to give you a yes or no whether or not that link is going to give you viable information. There was no end result when they started this AI system. This is again, I'm going to use the lead paint way because I think it's just as damaging. I think using AI to find information is just as damaging because it's not real information. Now, what I would do, and this is more like sometimes I can go to GPT and do things along the lines of, find me a list of the most recent news. It will go out and do that, but a lot of the times now, it's actually learning to not do that. It uses less tokens, less processing power, and goes, hey, go look up the rest of the news for yourself. It's actually not bad today. Recently, it's been significantly worse with it. So, while the end result is this, it's much better to go, please show me steps that I can use on Google to find the best related and up to date news. Now, what it'll do is it'll generate an idea in a way. It'll hallucinate out an idea. And what I don't like too is actually, you notice how they did search up the internet, but they didn't give us the list of sites either. That pulls away from the transparency of OpenAI a little bit, which is irritating. So I generate my step-by-step find guide to Google. And then I can refresh it. Come on. Work a little faster here. Oh, this is a long segment on AI. Sorry about this. It matters to me. I feel like it matters. Passionate. Come on. Okay, it's giving me a huge list. Recently, it's been a lot shorter. Additional tips. Oh my god. It's amazing. Why are you like this, ChatGPT, when anyways, whatever. So we have the result and we can just refresh it. And then we get a whole brand new result, right? Now we can manually filter through what responses GPT has given us. And you can see how they're quite varied. But it's a hallucination engine at its core. And I have heard I had to go look it up. I've heard interviews with AI experts saying the same thing, where they're like, this is like an investor, okay? The investors have taken over the building, right? They've built a cool program that kind of does a thing that's somewhat intelligent and looks really cool, but the investors came in and said, hey, we'll make it assistant, and they're like, we can if you want, which is why there's so many people on security issues going, hey, we shouldn't have given this thing access to the internet. And the question is why? Because it's gonna search thousands and thousands of different functions of all different variations, and you can have viruses that come out of it, and you can have good code that comes out of it, because it's just guessing. It's guessing with very little intelligence, and they have to add in the layer of intelligence on top of that, which we've seen inside this, where they talk about adding extra programs to check. Where is it? And an evaluator. That's what they're talking about, an evaluator right here. You have to, with a large language model, you have to have an evaluator. because without the evaluator, you are literally working off of randomness, right? Like my result here is totally different based on, right, based on this whatever, whenever I put in the prompt and however it put it out. So I can generate 3 or 4 completely not random, but more like random seeds basically, but different constructed ideas about how to search the internet and how to do other things. So yeah. No, I don't want to hear one sec too culprit. I'm gonna jump into the voice channel. If you want to jump in, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down or something if you want to jump into the voice channel. That to speak your part, because I feel like I'm very one-sided here. I'm defending my position. I'll absolutely defend my position about it. But I don't yeah, I think it's a scary precedent to set that this should be a system that is intelligent and that pushes towards giving good information. Like the good information comes from the external sources and the application on the hallucination engine that is AI.